Wine Chat. My name is Emma and I'm a certified sommelier with a mission to spread wine knowledge and to help you drink better. We are only a few days away from the day of Cupid and the day of love, Valentine's Day. And whether you celebrate with a loved one, on your own, or even Galentine's Day, there is no better way to show your love and affection than with wine. And not just any wine, but with pink wine, my favorite, rosé. So today I'm reviewing a rosé that, if all goes well, will be the perfect gift for your Valentine or Galentine. This is a rosé that I've been really curious to try since it was first released in the US last year. It sold out on its very first pre-sale there, and when it finally came to the UK last year in December, it sold out within just a matter of days. Finally, last week it was restocked, and I think honestly I was one of the first customers to buy it. As soon as the clock hit 12 o'clock and it was on sale, I purchased a bottle and I am so excited to review it with you today. The wine I'm talking about, of course, is Maison No. 9 by Post Malone. So let's dive into the chat on this incredibly highly anticipated rosé and see if it's worth cracking open on Valentine's Day. Let's chat about it. So before we crack open the bottle, let's just have a little talk about what is exactly going on with this wine. So for those of you who have been living under a rock and have no idea who is behind this rosé, his name is Post Malone, and he's an American singer, rapper, and songwriter. He burst onto the scene about 5 years ago. Now his real name is Austin Richard Post, and he's highly recognizable by his incredible number of tattoos. This wine is a collaboration between Post Malone, James Morrissey of Global Brand Equities, and Dre London, who is Post Malone's music manager. Now, Post Malone is definitely not the first celebrity to dip his toes into the world of rosé. We have wines coming from the people like Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, Sarah Jessica Parker, Sting, and even Kylie Minogue. The idea for this rosé came together from Post Malone's love of the Mediterranean lifestyle and rosé. It's said that the trio traveled regularly to southern France, and before landing on the final blend of this wine, they tried over 50 different blends, and that they travel regularly to the winery. This wine is actually classified as coming from the Mediterranean IGP in France. Now IGP, when translated to English, stands for Protected Geographical Indication. Using Mediterranean IGP means that the grapes for this wine can come from 10 different departments spread throughout Rhône, Provence, and Corsica. For me, usually when I see a wine using a regional IGP, it means that the wine is going to be quite simple and uncomplicated, usually nothing too complex or special, and quite often a lower quality wine as well. But in saying that, there are a few producers who choose to kind of declassify to a department or a regional IGP, as using that the rules are not so strict. You can use more grape varieties, you can do different techniques in the winemaking process, so overall you do have a lot more freedom. But the fact that this wine is a Mediterranean IGP and not perhaps a Côte de Provence rosé does have me feeling that the wine's not going to be too special. Maybe that's just the wine snob in me coming out. But Post Malone has not really helped himself here. He says that the rosé is easy to drink and it doesn't take itself too seriously. But if I'm spending 17 of my finest pounds on this bottle of rosé, I really hope that it's going to taste a lot better with more complexity than some of the rosés that I can get from the supermarket for kind of 8 or 10 pounds. So let's see. One really good feature of this wine is that it is made by Alex Cornu of the Provence Rosé Group, and he has some fantastic winemaking experience. He's worked in wineries all over the world, including places like Chateau Fontenelle in Bordeaux, which is owned by the renowned enologist Michael Rowland, and in one of my favorite wineries in Provence, Chateau du Pivenant in Bandol. So I'm a little bit more hopeful that I'm going to enjoy this wine. And now it's time to taste. start with is that I think the wine is a very pretty color. It's that really lovely, light, slightly blush, maybe even like super pale salmon, like getting an almost an orangey tinge in there, but like it's really delicate looking and really light. So this looks like what you'd expect from kind of a Provence style of rosé or a kind of southern France, very typical southern rosé. This is what you would expect. On the nose, honestly, I really don't get all that much from the nose. It's not overly expressive. There's a little bit of florality going on, definitely some kind of like red or pink flowers. I'm not exactly sure what I'm smelling. Some kind of juicy pineapple, like just a hint, which I really wasn't expecting. A touch of strawberries, definitely, and maybe even a little bit of kind of juicy pear coming through as well. You know, I think Post Malone said it best when he described this wine as easy to drink and it doesn't take itself too seriously. That is bang on for what I am tasting right now. This really is not a complicated rosé at all. It's very simplistic. It's quite elegant. Definitely quite a refined style of rosé, I would say. On the palate, maybe a little bit kind of underripe strawberry, a little bit of that juicy pineapple coming through, which is really interesting and cool. Some citrus, but it's not too acidic. There's no real vibrancy. To be honest, I would like the acidity to be a little bit higher, maybe to give it a little bit more kind of oomph to the wine, but it's light, it's dry, it's crisp, it's exactly what it said it's supposed to do. It's an easy, unserious rosé. I will say though that the finish does kind of linger in my mouth, even though I'm not getting so much from it. It's still there, it's still going on. Definitely the citrus is developing on my palate, which is quite cool to see. So this wine is made up of 45% Grenache, 25% Cinsault, 15% Syrah, and 15% Merlot. I really love how the bottle is tall and it's slim and it's beautiful, and I really like the glass stopper that it has. So these, fun fact, are called a Vino Lock, and to be honest, it's been a while since I've had a wine that's under these. I think the first one I ever had was a German Riesling from Schloss Wallrads, and it's really cool to see them. I really like them as a way of closing the wine without using a screw cap. I think it looks a little bit nicer, you know, and the packaging of this wine, from what I've read online, was designed to be more sustainable. I don't know if these are more sustainable, but the idea was that people would be able to reuse the bottles. The lids you can put back on very easily. I say very easily and I'm struggling. But yeah, you can put them back on, you can seal it back up, you can reuse the bottle again. So I think how the bottle looks is a big plus to this wine. The name of the wine, Maison number 9, comes from a reference to Post Malone's favorite tarot card, which is the 9 of Swords, which represents overcoming challenges. And you can see here on the bottle, there is a very cool sword design here. And Post Malone has been quoted in an interview saying that he thinks that swords are awesome and he's loved them since he was a little kid. And I really like that you look at this wine and you don't know that it's a celebrity rosé. You don't know that it's come from Post Malone. So overall, would I recommend this wine? Honestly, if you are not such a big fan of Post Malone, or your Valentine or your Galentine is not such a big lover of Post Malone, you can get rosé that tastes like this, so very similar, for about £10, to be honest. It's very light, it's very easy, it's uncomplicated, simple to drink. I mean, definitely in the summertime, it'd be fabulous in the park. Throw a few ice cubes in there, that would be lovely. But otherwise, it's okay, there's not much to it. If you don't love Post Malone, this is definitely not really a rosé that you should purchase. But in saying that, rosé for Valentine's Day. If you are after some fantastic suggestions, I will link one of my previous videos somewhere on the screen, also down in the description box below, where I talk about some of my favorite rosés, and they would all be fantastic to get for Valentine's Day. Like Tempier or Pivot, who do really, really lovely rosés. Even if you're after a cheap one in the UK, you can get the Master Damascus Sac, like this second level rosé, for about £10 usually at most places, and it's pretty good. I will link it also in the description below. I know a few places that sell it, and it's really delicious for £10. Otherwise, I would go for a sparkling rosé option. Some that I really love, if you're in the UK, you should definitely check out Gusbourne Estate. Their sparkling rosé brut is really incredible. You also have people like Gélisel, who's one of my favorite wineries in Champagne, who I've talked about on previous videos. Their rosé champagne is also super fine, super elegant, and the perfect match for a Valentine's Day. Well team, that is all for this week for me. I hope you've enjoyed this review of my Post Malone Rosé. Please do let me know in the comments below if you've tried it, what you thought, and has this video influenced you to either check it out or stay far away from it. Once again, I will say this is not a bad wine. It's really simple, it's really light, and I'm just really hesitant because for £17 you can get a rosé with a lot more complexity and kind of depth and a little bit more flavors to it, and that's my personal preference of style. And I don't think it's being made badly. Definitely on the finish you can see it lingers really long. It develops a little bit on the palate with that citrus developing a little bit, but it's really the price point that I'm hesitant about. But if you have enjoyed this video, please do remember to subscribe, hit that like button. All the love that you show me really makes me feel like what I do is appreciated. Until next time, remember, drink better, be better.